One bright morning, Clara stood on the sandy shores of her seaside town, watching the waves roll in. She loved the beach and spent most of her days exploring its hidden treasures. Her loyal dog Max bounded along beside her, chasing seagulls and barking at the crashing waves. As Clara was collecting seashells, something caught her eye. A small bottle bobbed in the shallow water, glinting in the sunlight. Curiosity sparked in her chest, and she hurried over, plucking the bottle from the sea. Inside was a rolled up piece of paper. What could this be? Clara wondered aloud as she carefully uncorked the bottle and unrolled the paper. To her amazement, it was a map. It was old and weathered, with faded markings of an island. The map showed forests, rivers, mountains, and a giant X in the center. Clara had explored her town's coast many times but had never seen or heard of an island like the one on the map. An island with a hidden treasure? Clara whispered, her heart pounding with excitement. Max, we have to find it. Max barked in agreement, wagging his tail. The next day, Clara packed her backpack with snacks, water, a flashlight, and the map. She knew that finding the mysterious island wouldn't be easy, but she was determined to try. She made her way to the harbor, where she met old Captain Jim, a wise but kind sailor who had sailed the seas for many years. Captain Jim, have you ever seen this island before? Clara asked, showing him the map. The captain squinted at the map, then stroked his beard thoughtfully. Aye, lass, that be the mysterious island, he said in his gruff voice. Few have ever gone there, and even fewer have returned. But if you're brave enough, I can take ye close to it. Clara's eyes sparkled with excitement. Yes, please. I have to see it for myself. Captain Jim smiled and nodded. Very well, we'll set sail at dawn. The next morning, as the sun rose over the horizon, Clara and Max boarded Captain Jim's small boat. The journey was long, and the sea grew rougher as they neared their destination. After hours of sailing, the fog lifted, and there, rising out of the ocean, was the mysterious island. Clara gasped in awe. The island looked exactly like the one on the map, with tall, dense forests, towering mountains, and sparkling rivers cutting through the landscape. Good luck, lass, Captain Jim said as he dropped anchor. I'll be waiting for ye here. Clara and Max hopped off the boat and made their way onto the island. The moment their feet touched the sand, Clara felt a strange energy in the air. The island was unlike anything she had ever seen. The trees were taller, the flowers more vibrant, and the air was filled with the sounds of exotic birds chirping overhead. Clara pulled out the map and studied it closely. We need to head toward the center of the island, she said to Max, pointing to the giant X marked on the map. Max barked and began leading the way. As they ventured deeper into the forest, Clara and Max encountered magical creatures they had never seen before. Glowing butterflies, talking parrots, and even a group of tiny giggling creatures that looked like fairies. Every step they took brought more wonders, but they also faced challenges. At one point, they reached a wide river with no bridge. Clara looked at Max, unsure of how they would cross. Suddenly, a group of turtles emerged from the water, forming a makeshift bridge with their shells. Clara giggled in amazement. Thank you, turtles, she said as she carefully crossed, Max following close behind. Finally, after hours of exploring, they reached the heart of the island. In front of them was a huge ancient tree with twisted roots and glowing leaves. At the base of the tree was a small door, barely visible beneath the thick. Clara knelt down and gently pushed the door open. Inside, there wasn't a treasure chest filled with gold or jewels, but something far more magical, an old book, glowing faintly. Clara picked up the book, her fingers tingling as she opened it. Inside were pages and pages filled with stories. But these weren't just any stories. They were stories of all the adventurers who had come to the island before her. The book recorded their tales, their discoveries, and their adventures, and are just like hers. As Clara turned the pages, she realized something incredible. The book was still writing. Words appeared on the blank pages before her eyes, telling the story of her journey to the mysterious island. This is amazing, Clara whispered in awe. It's not treasure, but it's even better. It's the story of everyone who's ever been here. Max wagged his tail, happy that their adventure had been a success. After taking one last look at the book and the magical island around her, Clara knew it was time to return home. She carefully placed the book back inside the tree, feeling grateful for the adventure she had experienced. Clara and Max made their way back to the shore, where Captain Jim was waiting with a smile. "Did ye find what you were looking for, lass?" he asked as they climbed aboard the boat. Clara grinned. "I found something even better, an adventure I'll never forget." As they sailed back toward the town, Clara looked back at the island, the memories of the magical creatures, the glowing tree, and the stories filling her heart. She knew that no matter what, the mysterious island would always be a part of her story, too. And from that day on, whenever Clara looked out at the sea, she smiled, knowing that the real treasure wasn't gold or jewels, but the adventure, the magic, and the stories that came from it.